Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and I'm sorry for like maybe 2 weeks I didn't update a new episode because I'm sorry because I'm really busy with my because I just turned to like 30 years old on the 5th September. So before that I have like many things to do. I have busy with many things about my personal stuff. Today I want to say hi before you listen to this episode. And another reason is because this case is about children. So I really have to like big warning to you guys who especially sensitive now and couldn't listen about the children or something about kids because it's fine, it's okay, just your mental health and your brain, your mind, your everything is more important. So this is a big trigger warning and before you listen, so if you have like sensitivities about those things, just don't continue to listen. Wait, have you subscribed my channel yet? Don't forget to subscribe, just once, I need just once, don't double click, okay? Just once is enough. And let's start the story. There are many stories that happen in Thai society. Story we are familiar with, story we think we know, but in the shadows of every story, another side of the truth is always hidden. Welcome to Siam Sinister Stories. Going deep into dark stories that rarely happen in Thailand. This is the other side of the land of smiles you've never seen. Today's story begins in a village whose name the entire country will never forget. Kokok in Mukdahan province. Try to picture this. A small village in a valley where the wind blows through the trees and the sound of children playing is a soundtrack of daily life. Here everyone is a relative and acquaintance. But then, on the morning of May 11, 2020, that music stopped. On that day, Chompoo, a 3-year-old girl, disappeared from the front of her own house. That morning began like any others. As schools were closed because of the COVID-19 situations, Sading, Chompoo's older sister, was at home looking after her as usual. Her parents, Anamai and Savitri Wongsi Cha, had gone out to work in their rubber farm, leaving their 2 daughters at home. According to Sading's statement to the police, she said that while she was watching her younger sister play in front of the house, she fell asleep for a moment. It wasn't for long, just around 10 minutes. But when she woke up, Chompoo was no longer there. But when the police looked into it later, they found out Sading wasn't actually asleep at all. She was on TikTok. At first, it was curiosity. Then it was worry. And finally, it was panic. Where did she go? The question spread through the village like fire. Villagers working in their field dropped their tools and gathered to search for the little girl they all knew and loved. And on social media, the hashtag "Where is Chompoo" was born, becoming a national trend as people send their support and follow the search. Of course, it's in Thai. I just translate to you guys in English. Where is Chompoo? Yes, the hashtag. One of the most active people in the search was a man who lived nearby, a close relative of family, Chai Pon Vipa. Or as everyone called him, Lung Pon. Lung it means uncle. Like in Thai culture, we call like other people, even not our real cousin, not real family. If they are older, then we always call like uncle, auntie, grandma, grandpa. Everywhere in Thailand. If you saw people call like Lung, Pa, it's mean like it's nature, it's Thai nature. Yes, and everyone call him Lung. So I would like to call him Lung Pon as everyone call him. Lung Pon as Chompoo's uncle-in-law. Well, his wife named Tan, so everyone call her Pa Tan. Pa is mean auntie. Pa Tan is an older sister of Savitri. Savitri is Chompoo's mother. The first night passed with the dark and chilling cold, both in the air and in the hearts of parents like Annamai and Savitri. The big search continued into its fourth day, and then on May 14th, the terrible news that everyone had prayed would not be true arrived. A villager who had gone to find food in the forest found Chompoo's body lying lifeless and naked on some rocks in the forest on Phu Lake Phai, a mountain that part of a national park about 2 kilometers from her home. The key point that made everyone stop and think was the mountain itself. It's very steep and full of thick plants. Experts and villagers all agreed that it was impossible for a 3-year-old child to walk up there on her own. Also, her parents said that Chompoo had never been to this mountain, and importantly, she was a child who was afraid of the dark, afraid of heights, and terrified of being alone. This went completely against the idea that she had wandered into the forest by herself. The officers also noted the 2-kilometer distance, thinking that it might not be the actual distance she traveled. They guessed that the starting point where the culprit took Chompoo might not have been the house, but another place closer the mountain to save time and lower the risk of being seen. Nearby, her shoes were found, and an important clue, 36 mysterious strands of hair that had been cut with a sharp object, not falling out naturally, while a toy backhoe was also found, leading to the idea that she might have gone willingly with the person. This is where the story starts to get strange. Think about it. Hair that was cut, not naturally fallen. What does that mean? It means the person had enough time to do something like this in a private place. Chilling, isn't it? The question of where did she go was replaced by a more terrifying one. Who these were to Chompoo? The mood on social media turned instantly. The hashtag "Who killed Chompoo" shot up to replace the old one. Everyone became a major detective, helping analyze and find the killer. In the investigation, the police had 4 main ideas. The first one is Chompoo wandered into the forest and died naturally. Second, someone took Chompoo into the forest and left her, causing her to die later. Third, someone took Chompoo into the forest while she was still alive and killed her there. And the fourth, Chompoo died somewhere else. and someone moved her body to the forest to hide the crime. Meanwhile, an insect expert estimated the time of death to be between the afternoon of May 12 and the afternoon of May 13. After Chompoo's body was found, all eyes from the public and the media were on the family's reactions, especially the parents. Public opinion had clearly split the main suspects into two groups, focusing on Lumpon at first one. And this point, a lot of people online were convinced he had something to do with Chompoo's death. One comment even said, "He seemed to love her too much. She is not even his kid." When asked about it, Lumpon explained, "I want to know how the person who said that feels. Why do they think I'm acting? This isn't a movie. I don't want to drag anyone into this because they haven't been through what I have." Lumpon was under a lot of stress, not just because people in the community were suspicious of him, but Chompoo's mom's side of the family was also really focused on him. He even said he wanted to become a monk to make merit for Chompoo, but no temples would take him in because they thought he was trying to escape the case. Even his small actions became a big deal for the villagers. For example, when Chompoo's body was found on the mountain, no one knew she was found naked, but it was Lumpon who brought clothes from his home to put on her. Of course, people on the internet immediately got suspicious, asking how did he know she was naked. Lumpon had to explain that Chompoo's parents had asked him to bring the clothes. An online comment at the time said, "I think Lumpon is the most suspicious one from the start. He seemed so smart and calm, but he's also acting nervous." Even all the suspicion around Lumpon, the police have said not to jump to conclusions about who the killer is, asking everyone to wait for until detailed autopsy results. The pressure really started piling up on Lumpon. The media went all out, trying to figure out if he was a killer. They even made minute-by-minute timelines of where he was when Chompoo disappeared. And they went to the village to ask people if they noticed anything weird about him. After being a suspect for almost 2 months, Lumpon didn't run away. He just went on with his life as usual. He answered every question the media asked and cooperated with the police in all their interviews. It was a super stressful time for him. As for work, his job was farming and working on rubber plantations. But after it became news, people got scared and stopped hiring him and patent. So they have to live off their savings. So was it possible that Lumpon took Chompoo and left her in the forest? The answer is yes, but it was very hard to do. To be exact, he had a window of just 22 minutes. On the day she disappeared, Lumpon left his house at 9:45 a.m. and arrived at the temple at 10:07 a.m. If he was the culprit, he would have had to grab the child, leave her in the forest, and then run to the temple, meet the monk. It's possible to do all of that in 20 minutes, but it's not easy. However, the police later clarified that the time he was unaccounted for was actually 48 minutes. It started from 9:19 a.m. to 10:07 a.m. And the point that made this story even more messy and confusing was the autopsy results. It was a long and confusing story of 3 autopsies that left everyone confused. The first round took place on May 15, 2020. The official result was that the cause of death could not be found, but the most importantly, no sign of sexual assault were found. But then, suddenly, Lumpon told the media that the autopsy showed the girl had been attacked and sexually hurt. Well, now, the information from the hospital and from the Lumpon is completely different. These confusions led to the second autopsy. This time, the results showed that there were wounds on her private parts, but it could not be 100% confirmed as sexual assault because the body was already in bad condition, so the matter remained unclear. And because it was unclear, the family was still worried, leading to the third autopsy. This time, a team of medical experts made the final decision and the results confirmed the first one. Chompoo's stomach had no food left, just 10 milliliters of liquid. Her brain and lungs were fine. Her skull wasn't fractured. Her neck wasn't broken, and she had no bruises. Her genitals were not violated, and her hymen was intact. The cause of death was lack of food and water. No assault had happened. No signs of sexual assault were found, but the confusion from the beginning had already caught fire in public. After the autopsy story ended on May 20, 2020, the family held a funeral for Chompoo. It was a traditional ceremony, a very tragic scene. Even Chompoo's own parents are under suspicion, with some people wondering if they actually killed their own daughter. The public mood shifts between these two sides, but the image on the screen created a lot of doubt among many viewers. On social media, many questions came up about the way the mother Savitri acted. Why does the mother seem so calm? Why isn't she crying like crazy? And somebody said her eyes look empty, not like the eyes of a mother who had just lost her child. Well, it's like her sadness didn't seem enough in the eyes of outsiders who were judging, which many people at the time, myself included. There's been a bunch of small dramas, like how the parents refused to watch their daughter's face on the final day before she was cremated. Well, I wanna explain about this ceremony, this culture in Thailand. In Thai Buddhist culture, there is a traditional at a person funeral called Rin Nam Sop. This ceremony involves family and friends pouring a special kind of singing water over the hand of the deceased as a final act to respect. It's a way of saying goodbye and symbolical washing away their sins before they pass on the next life. In some cases, especially in more traditional or rural areas, a very close family member like a parent might also gently wash the face of the deceased before the cremation. This is a very personal and emotional final gesture. It shows deep love and respect, and is a way for the family to perform a last act of care for the person they have lost. So when the parents of Chompoo reportedly didn't wash her face. It was seen as strange and raised questions among some people. This is because in this cultural context, it's considered a significant and loving final duty for a parent to the child. But well, from my personality, if I am a person who lost someone who I really love, that moment I think I couldn't control myself. But I don't know, is it the same feeling as her parents or not? But for me, I should not go there because I couldn't control my feelings to I think it's extremely painful for me if I saw a person I love face, and I know if I were a person that lost somebody who I really love, I thought I will not go there. Yes. And just as society was questioning the parents, Lumpon stepped in to fill the emotional hole with a good appearance, and he spoke clearly. Lumpon and Patan, they have two young sons, Om and Namon, who are both in elementary school. Lumpon was really close with Chompoo, especially in the past year when she was getting ready to kindergarten. They spent a lot of time together. They were so close that Lumpon even said that if Chompoo's parents ever stopped taking care of her, he would be happy to adopt her as his own daughter. The image of an uncle who deeply loved his niece made the public feel even more for him. It wasn't just TV, it was an army of YouTubers that completely changed the game. They didn't just report the news, they built a home in Kokok, live streaming 24 hours a day, following Lumpon's every move, from waking up, eating, watering plants, talking to the police. Everything became content, and the viewers at home became his fans. Since there was no scientific evidence connecting Lumpon to leaving Chompoo in the forest, the people on the Saving Lumpon side declared victory, saying he was innocent. The public narrative shifted, with people seeing him as a normal villager who was being bullied by society. As a result, a flood of support came in from all over Thailand. For example, Lumpon House, which was originally just bamboo walls and a tin roof, was rebuilt for him, a project worth around 300,000 baht. He didn't ask for any for this help. Strangers just came and gave it to him. Months went by while the public interest and the Kokok were growing. On the other side, the police were working quietly. And finally, on October 2, 2020, the head of the Royal Thai Police held a big press conference to give an update on the case. In that conference, the police gave a reason why Chompoo could not have walked up the mountain on her own. This included her being too weak to even stay at home, not having enough energy from her last meal, the fact that she was found naked when she couldn't undress herself, and her personal fear of the forest and the dark. And the police concluded from all the evidence, pointing to 3 reasons that showed the culprit was someone close to her. First one, hiding crime. Taking the victim far away is something a person who knows them would do. So a surviving victim can point them out. No struggle. The older sister was only 10 meters away but heard no cries, which means the girl went with someone she trusted. And the last one is, the toy was still there. The fact that her toy was with her at the scene shows she followed the person willingly and wasn't pulled away. During the investigation, the police questioned 384 witnesses and officially took statements from 120 people to piece the story together. Then on January 7 and 8, 2021, the police invited Chompoo family members, and including Lumpon and Platan, to take a lie detector test. And this action by the police, it was like pouring gasoline on fire. It causes a lot of anger among the people who believe in Lumpon. They saw it not as an investigation, but as an attempt to find a scapegoat. The public turned fiercely against the police. People saw it as picking on a poor good man. The hashtag Save Lumpon started trending on Twitter. The movement to defend Lumpon have officially begun. Once a part of society had decided that Lumpon is innocent, he was no longer just a victim's relative. He became a symbol of a fight against injustice. And where there is a symbol, there are followers. And where there are followers, there is market value. The fans club world was born. People from all over sent goods, sent money to support him at his home. The once sleepy village of Kokok became a new tourist spot. This fame didn't stop with Lumpon. It also spread to his wife, Paten. She became famous with her husband overnight. The craze went so far that someone wrote a song for her. Not about Lumpon. Yeah, it's not about Lumpon, it's about for her. A song titled I Want to Be Paten. Yeah, the lyrics show how many women saw Paten as a lucky woman standing beside their heroes. And then the story reached its strangest point, a point where the whole country had to rub their eyes when the number one queen of Molam country music, Jintala Phulab, traveled to Kokok village. This was a huge deal. She is a legendary artist, famous not just in Thailand, not just in country, but also loved by people in Laos and Thais who living abroad. You could say that if you are Thai people, but you are not fan of Molam folk song or Thai country song, you definitely heard her name or definitely heard her song. She has stood at the top of her fight for decades, a living legend. And for her to appear here was like giving him a stamp of approval that Lumpon was innocent in that public eye. The song used for the music video Tao Ngoi, a song that had been a massive hit years before, is a fun song about the legend of a great turtle that brings good fortune. To remake a music video for a famous song in a special version at Kokok, featuring Lumpon. The men's society was defending, singing and dancing in the middle of video. The result was a picture of celebration, the image of a new celebrity, celebrating his success. After that, the Gokok world grew without limits. He got paid to advertise products, start his own company, and even built a massive Payanak statue on his land. What's a Payanak? Well, Payanak is a Naga, a mythical serpent of dragon-like god from old stories, often connect to water, luck, and protection. Building a giant one is a huge deal. At that moment, Lumpon was a complete success story, a hero to millions. The man named Chaipon Vipa had become a completely successful celebrity. He was a hero to many, an innocent man wronged by fate. Then something shocking happened. A school brought a group of elementary students on a field trip of the village of Gokok just to visit Lumpon. The teacher even had the kids take pictures with him and Batan, which led to a lot of people questioning what the children actually gained from a trip to Lumpon's house. Not everyone was okay with Lumpon's sudden fame. While the police were still investigating, Lumpon kept making headlines. He got into more trouble, like a case for trespassing on a national forest, and then an incident where he attacked a PPTV reporter. It was one negative drama after another, but his social media followers kept growing. A year later, May 17, 2021, the nation police chief, Ponjen Suwat Jang Yosuk, said the Chompoo case isn't over yet, but we definitely have an answer. It's up to us how fast we get there, and I believe we have an answer that the public will be satisfied with. Until June 3rd, 2021, almost a full year after the event, a small piece of news appeared, and it shook the Gokok universe, causing it to fall apart instantly. The Mukdahan Province Court has approved an arrest warrant for Mr. Chaipon Vipa on 3 men charged to take a child under 15 from their parents, leaving a child under 9 in a way that led to death, and messing with a dead body before an autopsy. At the very point, the entire story was turned on its head, and the public learned of the other side of the truth that had been quietly happening all along. While the Gokok universe was spinning like crazy in the quiet rooms of the forensic labs and in the office of the investigation team, and fought in secret. The investigation team went back to the start. They checked every CCTV camera in a huge area, re-interviewed witnesses over and over, and most importantly, they took apart Lumpon's car, searching for the smallest piece of evidence that might have been missed, and then they found it. It wasn't a gun, not a knife, not a bloodstain, but it was hair. 2 very important sets of hair evidence that led to the court's decisions. The first set of evidence was one strand of hair found near the body, when tests for mitochondrial DNA, which is DNA passes down from the mother side. The result matched the family lines of Lumpong's mother. This showed that a person from Lumpong's family was at the crime scene. The second set of evidence was three strands of hair found in Lumpong's car. When tested with the same method, the DNA matched the family line of Chompoo. The hair from the scene and the hair from the car were checked closely. All the strands show signs of being cut by the same type of sharp object, with the exact same 26-degree diagonal cut marks, as if they had all been cut at the same time. This was the point where many social media detectives were left shocked. The chain of two sets of hair from different places having the exact same cut marks is almost impossible in a criminal cases, don't you think? Besides the evidence from the scene and the car, another test point to suspicious behavior. The result from the lie detector test, which showed that Lumpong was likely hiding information, but it wasn't just the science that started to clear things up. There were also stories from two key witnesses that were like the final pieces of the puzzle, giving the police confidence. The first was Mr. Wacharin Kong Gan Thao, or Paul Bam, and everyone called him Paul Bam, so I will call him Paul Bam. Paul Bam, a villager who said that on the day of the event, between 9:20 to 9:40 a.m., he saw Lumpong at the rubber farm on a path that could lead up the mountain. Paul Bam said he shouted hello to Lumpong, and Lumpong asked him if he wasn't going to hit fire. Paul Bam replied that he had just been spraying weed killer nearby. That was it. Lumpong looked really shocked, even crying out in surprise. Hush, you were here? And then become very nervous. But the story doesn't end there. After the police started questioning people in the village, Paul Bam told the truth. The very next day, Lumpong rode his motorcycle to Paul Bam's house. He came over and seemed ready for a fight, saying the police suspect him because of Paul Bam. And the craziest part was, Lumpong tried to convince Paul Bam to give a new statement to the police, to change the time they met to 7 a.m. instead. This is a clear attempt to create a false ability, isn't it? The second witness was พระอธิการบุญมา Well, in Buddhist, พระ is mean monk, อธิการ is mean some status, so พระอธิการบุญมา The monk Lumpong was supposed to pick up from the temple that day. He said that he had arranged to meet Lumpong around 9 a.m. But Lumpong was very late, arrived after 10 a.m. And reasoning Lumpong gave for being late was Chompoo is missing. This right here was a big problem in this story, because at the time, Lumpong and Paten's family only had one mobile phone, and on that day the phone was with Paten. The question is, how could Lumpong, who had left the house to pick up the monk, have known that his niece was missing? It was impossible for Paten to have called and told him. This was the scientific proof and witness stories. One piece linking Lumpong to the crime scene and another linking Chompoo to Lumpur's car. It was the key puzzle piece that instantly created a massive crack in Lumpur's timeline and ability. Because while he insisted that he did not see Chompoo at all that day, the truth was, on morning before it happened, Lumpur, Patan, and Chompoo's parents had gone to work at the rubber farm together before going their separate ways home and learning of the disappearance later. His statement was the opposite of the fact that he was with the child's mother very close to the time she went missing. After the arrest, a high-ranking officer on the case revealed that, in fact, the police had suspected Lumpur for a long time because his stories didn't add up. Like his claim to the media that autopsy showed signs of assault, when the first autopsy from the hospital confirmed no such sign. But the Lumpur fever and the huge pressure from social media made the work many times harder. Calling him for questioning or trying to collect more evidence became a difficult matter that had to be planned very carefully because every action by the police was watched very closely and could be seen as picking on him. The public mood was like a shield protecting the suspect and sadly delayed the process of finding the truth. And the songs that were once famous were quickly rewritten. From the song that once says, "I want to be Paten," there was now a response song that sang, "I don't want to be Paten anymore." It was the clearest sign that when a hero falls, everything that was built around him is ready to fall apart with him. The bad effect from this news also spread to the queens of Molam Jindala Punlap, the one who has publicly given Lumpur a stamp of approval that he was innocent. The social media world turned on her, asking questions like many comments fell off her social media page asking if she would delete the Tao Ngoi version of the music video. For example, your Tao Ngoi partner in the video has had a warrant issued for his arrest. Jindara's response was quietly post a picture of herself making merit by putting a cloth over a Buddha statue on her Instagram. Finally, the Jindala Pula feat Lumpur's versions of the song Tao Ngoi, which had 22 million views, was officially removed from the Jindala channel official, yes, her YouTube channel. The battle in court was a war of proof and witness stories. The lawyers trying to prove he was guilty had her as their strongest piece of proof, and witness stories that pointed to Lumpur's strange timeline. The court especially pointed out that based on different witness stories, Lumpur had a period of time where nobody knew where he was and he could have committed the crime between 9:49 a.m. to 10:17 a.m. The defense team agreed that the hack could have been faked, and there was no eyewitnesses who saw Lumpur with Chompoo. On December 20, 2023, the first court gave its decision, giving Mr. Chaipon Vipa a 20 years prison sentence on charges of taking a child and holding her against her will, which led to her death. However, Lumpur immediately asked for bail, with the court allowing a cash payment of 500,000 baht, so he could fight the case in a higher court. But the story wasn't over. The fight continued in the higher court, and finally, on August 13, 2025, the higher court changed the decision, seeing what he did as killing someone on purpose. So they increased the sentence to 26 years in prison. As for Patan, the court let her go free. Then Chompoo's mom gave an interview and said that her number one suspect, the person most likely to be the killer, is Lumpon himself. This is what Savitri or Chompoo's mom says. He seemed to love our daughter a little too much. Lumpon always said how much he loved Chompoo and that if we ever stop raising her, he'd take her in himself. He didn't just say it once, he said it all the time. I have been suspicious of Lumpon even before our daughter disappeared. My maternal instinct just told me to pull my daughter away. I thought our daughter is a girl and he's our brother-in-law. And he had 2 sons of his own. If she got too attached to him, I was afraid she might be in danger. In the final step, the case will go to the Supreme Court. It all depends on whether the prosecution is satisfied with the result so far and whether Lumpon wants to keep fighting it in a third court. If the Supreme Court accepts the appeal and Lumpon decides to fight on, the big question is whether he has any new evidence that can change the decisions of the first 2 courts. If not, the final verdict might just be the same. The curtain on this big drama had closed with the court's final word. The YouTubers have gone away. His old fan clubs have faded. Kokok village is slowly returned to peace, but a peace filled with scar. So what does the story leave us with? It leaves behind family. The family of Anamai and Savitri, who, even though they got justice, must live with the pain of their daughter forever. Well, they're updated. They both Anamai and Savitri now they divorced. But I didn't want to focus on that, and I didn't try to search about why they divorced. But now everyone focus just on Savitri, Chompoo mother, and it's also leave us with a lesson that we have no right to judge how anyone chose their sadness. A quiet sadness can be more deeply painful than the loudest tears. The image of Savitri not breaking down for the media gave society the perfect reason to question and judge her, even though we all know that people show pain in different ways, especially when facing cameras and microphones 24/7. Hiding one's true feelings behind a wall of strength might be the only way she had to protect herself. And it's what this emotional hole that allowed Lumpon to step in and play the role of the protector people felt sorry for, easily pulling public belief away from a family that was falling apart. It leaves an expensive lesson for the media about how thin the easily torn the line is between reporting the news and creating entertainment from a sad event. And when a sad event is turned into a reality show, there will always be people who profit from it. This isn't new. In other countries, there have been many cases where people involved became celebrities overnight. But seeing it happen so clearly in Thailand, this time had made us question What is right and wrong? And should we allow anyone to build a name for themselves, making money, or even become a hero on the death of a child? And if another child or of somebody, anyone, I think, should we really? And most importantly, it leaves a question for all of us. In an age where we can be judged with a click of a fingers, did we get so carried away with the entertaining story that we forgot the painful truth? Have we been feeding on the sadness of others as our favorite dish? Perhaps the scariest part of this story wasn't the act of a single person, but the collective reaction of entire society, a sickness in society that all of us may have helped create without even knowing it. Thank you for diving into the shadows today's stories. See you again in the next episodes of Siam Sinister Stories. Bye.